Hello, academic stars around the world. Welcome to Caltex Academy. Today on our board, we have a brand new topic, and that is functions. So in today's video, what are we expecting? So we are expecting to have introduction to functions, and then I'll work for you 4 good examples. And in the process of working, please go ahead and pause the video where you don't understand, try on your own, figure out what is going on, and then at the end of this video also, I promise you, I prepared for you nice questions to check whether you have learned something and to show that for sure you are an academic star. And if you're excited just like me, come closer and let's do it. Okay, so on our board here, you can see we have some simple definition of function, and it says function is defined as the special case of relation whereby two sets are related using a special rule or an operation. Now let's look at function notation. So when we talk about function notation, we talk about which letters are used to represent functions and how are they denoted. So the most common letters used to denote a functions are f, g, and h. That is to say, f of x, g of x, and h of x. Any other letter can be used to represent these functions, but the most common one are these 3 cases that we have just talked about here. And for example, we have f of x equals to 2x plus 1, g of x equals to 4x minus 3, and so on. So from here, when you take a look at one of these functions, we have 2 sides, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So the left-hand side is always called a domain, and then the right-hand side is called range. So now, let's have a look at our first example that says, given that f of x equals to 4x minus 8 over x minus 2, find f of x. So what is the meaning of this question? Here it is telling us that if our domain is given by this relation and we're given a domain with x, what do you think will be the range? Now, what we have to do, we can align them together such that the domain corresponds to domain, and then we make substitution in our range. So without further ado, let's have this question written down here, and we have the solution. At the same time, let's have more space. So we have here our function f of x is given by 4x minus 8 over x minus 2. Now, what we're expected to simplify is this. So we have f of 3 equals, so whenever we get x, like you can see from here, our 3 is corresponding to x. So whenever we get x, we shall replace it by 3. So let's write it here, and we have 4. And these parentheses, we're going to replace our x inside here. So we have minus 8 over also x here. Let's give it a parenthesis and minus 2. So we can fill in our parentheses here where we have 3 and also 3. So we can go ahead and simplify the numerator and also simplify the denominator. Therefore, from the numerator, we multiply 4 by 3, and that is 12 minus 8 all over. From down here, we have 3 minus 2, and the numerator simplifies to something like 4. So our left-hand side still remains the same as f of 3 equals 4 over 3 minus 2 is 1. So 4 divided by 1 is 4. And as simple as this is our solution, only 4. And you can see how easy functions are. Now with all this, let us move ahead to the next question, and that is question number 2. Okay. In question number 2, it says also that given that f of x equals to x squared plus 3x plus c, find the value of c. Now in this question, we have added one more step by giving some unknown letter in our range of this function. And we're given also the domain as f of x is equivalent to 9, meaning somewhere we brought our 2 here and we entered into our range and have gotten a value of 9, just like what I've done in question number 1. So what do you think will be the value of C? So you can also go ahead and pause the video and try on your own, and then come back and also work together to see which solution you are getting right now. Okay, so let's push ahead and have our solution done here. So the first thing is to get our function down here, and that is f of x equals x squared plus 3x plus c. And we're also given here that f of 2 is given by 9. But we can write this 9 somewhere here because we have our f of 2 given as 9. Now, we first need to see what is it in our function here if we have f of 2. And we already know that the x from the range will be replaced by our 2 from our domain. So we can replace this and say 2 square plus 3 times 2 and plus c. So let's simplify that. F of 2 equals 4 plus 6 plus c. And when we sum these together, we still have our f of 2 as 10 plus c. Now, we also know that f of 2 is 9. So instead of writing f of 2, we're going to replace it by 9. So let's do that here. Now we have 9 equals 10 plus c. So let's subtract 10 from both sides. So simply 9 minus 10 equals c. So when you subtract, of course, big number from a small one, you get negative. And finally, we have here -1 equals to c. Therefore, the value of c is just -1. Isn't that simple? So you can see functions are really very interesting and they're very easy. Now let's move on to question number 3. As I promised you, we're going to work on 4 questions right away in this video. So stick to the end for you not to miss our exercise. So let's push on. So in this question number 3, it also says, given that g of x is given by ax squared plus b, and g of -2 is also 3. Meanwhile, g of x is equals to -3. Find the values of a and b. Now you can see if there are two unknowns in a certain functions or in any given equation, we need two equations to solve them out. And since we have a and b, we have been given also two conditions here to find out those values of a and b. So let's get to work. Now, the first thing also is to get our first function down here as before, and we have g of x is given by ax squared plus b. Now, we're to evaluate the first condition. For g of -2 equals to 3, as our first condition here, we can go ahead and bring our g of our -2 here and substitute. x with negative 2, we can square, then plus b. Of course, there's no x attached to, so just simply copy our b. So g of negative 2 equals 4a plus b. Now, we need to replace g of negative 2 by our 3 here. So let's bring it and place it here. Just 3 equals 4a plus b. And for me, the unknowns look better if they're in the left-hand side. So let me just write my 4a plus b equals 3. This is just the same way of writing the same equation. And you can call this equation number 1. Now let's move on and do the same thing to the second condition. And we know that in this second condition, we had the same function, and that is g of x is given by ax squared plus b. And we know our second condition is g of 1 should be negative 3. So let's push on and make our substitution here. Meaning we first need to work on g of 1 equals to, whenever we get x, we're putting in 1. So this is our first expression. And when we simplify the range, we get just simply a, because 1 squared is 1. And 1 times a is just a. So we have here a plus b. What is the next thing? We need to replace our g of 1 by this condition, negative 3. So we have here negative 3 equals a plus b. Now, we also need to write this just the same like this equation number 1. And that is a plus b equals negative 3. So let's call this one also equation number 2. Now, what do we do with these two equations? We have to solve for a and b simultaneously at the same time. So let's connect them together and see which suitable method will suit us best. Now let's connect them here. I'm using a different color, and we have 4a plus b equals 3. And a plus b equals negative 3. So it's easy to use elimination method because the coefficient of b is already the same. And since they're the same sign, we'll subtract equation 2 from equation number 1. So let's implement that here. And we can place our subtraction sign here. And we see 4a minus a, we get 3a. And b minus b, we just get 0. So ignore the 0 and just got the right-hand side where we have 3 minus negative 3. So negative and negative will go to positive, and they'll add themselves to 6. And by 3, so we will cancel this, and the value of a is 2. Now, we need the value of b from any of these two equations. Now we can say from here, we can take maybe equation number 2, and that is a plus b equals to negative 3. Now here we'll substitute a equals 2 in this equation number 2. So if a equals 2 and we add our b, what do you think will be the results of this? So we can collect like terms, leaving our b here, and we have negative 3 minus 2, and this gives us negative 5. Or somebody can say, okay, I want to use the first equation, and that is 4a plus b equals 3. Now, if I substitute a with 2 and add my b, I must get 3. So, multiplying 4 and 2, we get 8. Adding my b, I must get what? 3. So here, we can collect like terms, the numbers together, and we have 3 minus 8. We know if positive crosses the equal sign, it changes to negative. So my b, pardon me, with this writing, this looks like 6, but this is b. Okay, so 3 minus 8, we get minus 5. So any academic staff who has taken this approach of first equation and second equation must get the same answer. And since the question was talking about find for us solution for the values for A and B, this becomes our answers, and that is negative 5 for B and 2 for A. I think this is so amazing. So we're only left with only one question to go. If you have not subscribed at this time, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and become one of the academic stars. So let's push to our last question. Yeah, in our last question, we have given that h of x is equals to x minus 4 square. Find the value of x for which h of x equals 25. So go ahead and pause that video, work it on your own, because you are now almost preparing for your exercise, and then share your results in the comment section before going ahead with this video. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Now let us work together. So from here, we can also, as usual, copy our question down here, and that is the function h of x is given by our x minus 4, and this is squared. Now we are given h of x as 25. So maybe I would say n h of x is 25. So if that is the case, we're simply replacing our domain, that is h of x, by 25. So we have 25 here equals our x minus 4 and that. Now, since we have this square number from the left-hand side and square number from the right-hand side, then we can just go ahead and get square root on both sides. In case our 25 is not a square number, the best approach here is to first expand the right-hand side, and after that, we collect them together and obtain an ordinary quadratic equation and solve with any method we wish. But since they are all square numbers, let's go ahead and get square root on both sides. So we can say, okay, from the left-hand side, we can have square root of 25. And since this one is a number, we can have the square root with both positive and negative results, because always we know a square root of a number has two values. Anything to power 2 has also two results. Now, let's listen to the next one here. And this part where we have a letter, we don't need to give positive or negative. Let's just simply copy our x minus 4 and the square. So here, this square will go with the square root, and we're left here with the square root of 25 is 5. So we have both positive and negative. 5 should be equivalent to x minus 4. So let's connect like term by taking our negative 4 to the left-hand side to join that number. So we have 4 positive plus or minus 5 must give us only x. So we can simplify this. Either we take the upper sign where our x is equivalent to 4 plus 5, or we take the lower sign and we have x should be given by also 4, and the lower sign is negative, and we have 5. So when you simplify the first option here, 4 plus 5 equals 9. So our first value for x here is 9, and the next value for x would be 4 minus 5 is negative 1. So here is our second option of the answer. So meaning, when we arrange this, starting with the small one, as x is equals to negative 1 as the first solution, then x will also be equivalent to positive 9. So these are the two possible solutions for this function. Now we can flash back to see how our work looked like. I think it's really looking interesting. So from here, I hope by this time you are ready to see your exercise. And please go ahead and solve this exercise. Are you ready? Yes, let's go. Great. Now, our exercise is here finally. There are only two numbers. So you prove to me that you are an academic star by working it gently and share your answer in the comment section. I will be excited to see your answers. Trust me. So the first question is, given that g of x is equals to ax squared plus 5x minus 3. If g of x is given by 9, find x. I think there's some small mistake here. This x should have not been here. So just ignore this. Find a, as you can see from here. So this is a you are finding. Now the second question is, a function f of x is defined by f of x equals 2 over x plus 3. Find the value of x for which f of x equals 4. I think the questions are extremely easy, and just share your results in the comment section. Thank you for watching up this time. See you in the next function video also that I'm going to bring it up, and then we shall link up there. Peace out.